Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today we are listening to Blondie. This is the official music video for the song Heart of Glass. Here we go. We're just gonna stop here. Not a first time listen. I'm a big fan. I think Debbie Harry has a really incredible voice, and I feel that her vocals are oftentimes really underrated. Call Me. That is a really challenging song, and the range of that song is just like, it's tough. We're not even doing that song today. Heart of Glass. But I'm reminded of that song because of, I just think she is so underrated. I'm going to go back to when she starts singing. I know, official music video, this isn't live or anything like that. So I'm not going to focus too much on like what I'm seeing in her face as much. But I think to some extent there is like honesty in that presentation, even though it's being recorded in this way. Like there are habits that still sort of pop out whenever you're doing like lip syncing, or if they were singing live when they recorded this. So here we go. Okay. The tone itself is beautiful. It's got so much ping and brightness. But I believe at the time that this song came out, like she was already in her 30s. So she's got that beautiful like richness and warmth in her sound as well. So the two combined, I think, is stunning. And you can hear that, especially as she goes lower. It's a lot easier to eliminate some of that forward placement and some of that brightness when you're in mid-range. I love that contrast, and I think that's one of the things that sort of makes this song stand out a lot of times. Let me play that again. Now, here she was smiling. That does create brightness in tone. Whether or not she did that, in the studio when she was recording the vocals, I don't know. But at least for, our own visual sake, in this particular clip, you can kind of follow the trajectory of brightness, or maybe like the diminishing brightness, as you see like the corners of her mouth sort of come in. I think the other thing that, golly, I wonder what it was like to see this music video when it first came out. Um, she has this edgy coolness about her that is just so alluring. I could try for 100 years and never like be able to sort of embody that kind of coolness. Like some people just have it. And that paired with this song, oh, it's just gold. It's so good. She uses a lot of head dominant mix in this song, but it is so smooth, and the transition into that more chest dominant place is just, I mean, it's so gradual and so subtle that you don't hear any flips or breaks or anything like that. And again, it just goes so well with the song, like these slides and this like gradual movement throughout her registers. Throughout that whole thing, I keep mentioning, I know this is a music video. I have watched live performances as well, and she doesn't do a lot of spread at all. So it's just like this really nice contained shape for like 95% of her vowels. And then occasionally, like I mentioned before, we get a little bit of spread or a little bit more smile. But it's not, overly dramatic. It's still kind of within this sort of contained space. That was so gentle. Like most of the time, even when you hear covers of this song, you often hear singers stay in head voice, or you hear the break as they transition into their mix. They almost turn it into a yodel, but she's not doing that here. She is gliding through that so seamlessly, and she backs off the air just enough so that we don't hear this really dramatic shift. I forgot how much I love her voice. Here I am talking about how underrated she is, and I take for granted her vocal chops, like every time I hear one of her songs. There's just this really beautiful, almost like purity in her tone that I think is so beautiful. But it's mixed with like that gorgeous warmth and maturity. And then, of course, like the agility that she has moving through her registers is stunning. I just want to go watch a bunch of videos now. You could see at the end there was a little bit of scrunching with those high notes, and that's one of the reasons why I think, oh, maybe some of this was recorded live and then, the final studio version was put on top, or however they did it. Because that's a technique you'll see for some singers when you're going up high in order to sort of get that forward placement and get that nasality. It's easier to just kind of place it there right off the bat instead of opening wide and then trying to shift your placement forward. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. I'm gonna go listen to some more. Thank you guys so much for this recommendation and for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.